looks
you
like.
do it all the time like this. That's why it hurts so much.
Oh,
We are live,
hello
back
everybody.
at it again.
Nice to see you. I feel like I haven't done a live in a while. Am I lying? I don't know. It's been a while since I've done a live. It's me and Aiden today. Derek is on his way home. He went on a quick family trip, Colorado. Jealous. All the snow pictures are. It looks great. I hope they had fun.
Yeah, I want to build.
Not jealous, just happy for them.
But also jealous.
But also so jealous. So we've got some stuff that we have today. We have a couple of appointments. We're just coming out of our team meeting, and then we do our lives every Tuesday. But this probably won't be as long as some of them are, since we do have another appointment after this. So just wanted to hop on in case any of you guys had some questions to ask. As always, go to the website, coreteamhoy.com. If you guys wanted to hop on a consult with us, if you had more specific questions that either we or our assistants can help you with, coreteamhoy.com. If you fill out the contact form, Charlotte will, if you did that right now, Charlotte would call you right now. So,
and we're also rolling out a new thing on questionnaires, like a one question a day sort of thing.
Yes.
And that's in the description of all the videos.
Yes. Would it be in this description box too? It'll be in the description box on this live. So please participate. This is going to be a way for us to just be a little bit more engaging with you guys. Give us the opportunity to answer some of your questions. They can be anonymous. So, it's not, if you don't catch us on a live, fill out the questionnaire. But also, if you are on a live with us, feel free to ask your questions right here. Same way you always do, and we'll do our best to get to them. So we like to give our flowers to our team. Charlotte, fantastic. If you are an active client with us, or you are soon to be an active client with us, you have probably spoken to Charlotte more than once. So Derek rolled out this program. It's called our Safe Surveys, where Charlotte just kind of touches base with everybody who's kind of like actively working with us, just to see how we're doing and make sure that everybody's experience is top notch. So we're going to read some of our Safe Surveys. First one today, this is going to be from Kat. Kat and Michael, we're in escrow with them right now.
Whoop, whoop.
This is a direct message to Derek. Losing Aiden and Mahe would be a waste of people and talent. So just
saying,
just
Derek.
putting that out there. It came from an active client. It would be a waste. So anyway, we'll continue. Aiden follows up every now and then, but not to the extent that we get annoyed. Just
Teetering
enough.
on the edge there.
I feel like you cross that line for me all the time,
fair.
but I'm glad that the clients don't feel that. Okay, just enough. He asks if we found anything, and then let him know. If we found anything, then let him know. So if we want to look at it. Okay, I think what that is he's asked if we have any questions or if there's anything we need to go over. And if we do, we'll look at it. Okay. To our surprise, in less than a week, our offer has been accepted. She was amazed.
She was so amazed.
It was really fast. Yeah. Aiden is really good at what he does. Agree 100%. And appreciate that Mahe is hands-on too in helping us. Well, we appreciate you guys. Very excited for them. That was a quick one. Is that the first showing?
It was the first showing.
Showing, and we
beat out 6 offers on the table.
Yes, it was a multiple offer situation, which leading up to it, Aiden already told them that we knew it would be. So the strategizing happened as soon as we had an inclination that they liked the property. And that's where our expertise comes in, as far as timing, when we should be submitting the offer, what the offer should look like, how can we best leverage ourselves to be in a position for acceptance. And they had other properties that they were like, okay, well, if this doesn't work out, then this, but it worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah.
And right before we were going to submit the offer or send it out for signatures, we were like, wait, we got to do this one edit.
Yeah.
Or 2 edits in order to make the offer just that little bit stronger. And who knows if that was the
you never know.
If that was the point at which they were like, let's take this offer instead.
So we love what we do. We love when we get to work with cool people in general, but we also love when we get to use kind of that expertise and that that little extra level of production that we do, just to really, I mean, I love beating other offers. I love to win.
Yeah.
I am competitive, but more than that, more than my like desire to win, I want my clients to also win. So it worked out great to where the price is correct. The value is for sure there, and they beat out other offers and other clients, and now they have the opportunity to relax and know that their transition is going to be smoother. So far everything's tracking well. Knock on wood. Hopefully it stays that way. It will stay that way. Manifesting. All right. Next from Victoria. This is for Kenny. I'm glad that we're paired with Kenny. He's professional and insightful. He answered all of my questions in reasonable time frames. I'm very happy with our collaboration with Kenny to find us a home. Awesome. Thank you for that feedback, Victoria. Kenny is awesome. I would say Kenny is like the king of follow-up. And yeah, he really, truly is. Yeah, Kenny's dope. I think we have one more for Kenny.
We do. One
more for Kenny, Natasha. We are already in escrow, and so far, Kenny has been great and very awesome. Yes.
Nice.
Yep. The follow-up does not stop just because the house is found. It's going to continue on throughout the process. Our team, us as agents, as well as our leverage and support team, Zyrell, Charlotte, Judy.
Yeah. You actually get more exposure to the team the more you track through, right?
Yeah. Once you're in escrow and like the further along you go. We're the ones on the website. We're the ones whose pictures are everywhere. But the real kind of like rock stars on the team are our leverage girls. And once you guys are in escrow with us, you get to experience kind of like how amazing they are with everything they do. I think it's, we get compliments from other agents all the time about how our transaction coordinators are just like on it all the time.
Those girls.
And
Larry in the comment section said, "Aloha, Aiden," or Mahe and Aiden. How's it?
Hi, Larry.
Charlotte is a beast with the phone and text. She really keeps all of your clients in order with weekly touch points. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll listen to calls, like Charlotte's calls.
Big brother.
Like I make her record 3 portions of calls, and I'll pick one randomly, and I'll review them. I'm like, hey, what's one thing you did good? What's one thing you could work on? And Charlotte's like, I don't think I did anything good. I was like, well, if you did nothing good, why are they talking to you? Why are they laughing? Why are you bantering with them? But yes, Charlotte is amazing. She helps us very, very much.
Yeah.
Especially for clients. Larry, I'm sure, has spoken to Charlotte.
Yeah, she's
many
awesome.
times.
She's so sweet, and she's like so unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
Like she's funny when she doesn't mean to be. And I think it's like super endearing and very cute. So, you guys, if you guys get to talk to our girls, you're very lucky because they are great and we love them. Okay, so load us up with any questions.
Oh, Marissa, what's up?
What's up, Marissa? Past Core Team Hawaii client. Love her. Let us know if you guys have any questions for us. It is November 12th, Tuesday, November 12th, a week since the election. Effectively, I personally am not seeing like, as far as like our business goes, as far as real estate goes and the kind of like cause and effect of like everything that's been going on. Are you personally feeling any sort of real change or transitioning or shifting in what we're doing day to day yet from the election?
I don't think I've felt any different. One thing though is I feel a little more busy in this winter months as compared to last year and the year before. I don't know if that's a cause of the election or if it's just timing of it all.
Yeah, I don't know either. We talked a little bit about this on the video that you and I did together last week, but I wonder if it's people are just like doing more things again after like the kind of like the aftermath of the election is maybe starting to
like everyone was holding their breath.
Yeah,
for
everyone
like the
was just kind of just
weeks.
like what's gonna happen? And now we're like, oh, okay, we know what it is now. Like life moves on. Now we carry on. Now we do what we need to do. Life moves on. Life goes on. We got to keep it moving. So I don't feel any like real effect as far as like what's happening with our clients yet, or you know, an extreme like nothing really super noticeable yet.
Right.
I do feel a little bit more busy now. Wintertime, if you are a 1099 worker, if you're a business owner, Christmas and like wintertime, unless you like run an ornament store or something,
Like
you know,
your second 1099.
yeah. Unless you're like that guy in Pro Ridge who sells all the personalized Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
Unless you're that guy, Christmas time, for like us, like I don't know. I guess that's not accurate because other people in sales probably are doing fine because people are shopping for Christmas.
Right.
But just in general, like big decisions, big money moves, buying your house, big investments, like we experience a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a slowing down as the focus kind of shifts more towards like family and more towards like not being out and shoveling snow, not having an open house set up when you have, you know, a driveway covered in snow and ice and sleet. So
Right.
our business slows down a little bit yearly around this time. But I feel like we've been a little bit more busy lately than we normally are. So it's been weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for the month, I feel like I'm doing more consults and I'm showing more houses
Yeah.
than we were this time last year, right?
Right. No, I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
I was talking to a client, Robert.
yeah.
Robert Y&I. He is feeling that sort of way with the market in the mainland right now. He was talking to his agent in Seattle, and his agent was like, "Yeah, you know, we could sell it right now, but it wouldn't be optimal for you." And he was like, kind of digging in more. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, one, market conditions, and weather conditions, right?
Yeah.
Hawaii is one of those places where we could wear a sweater in the winter or we could wear a t-shirt, but places in the mainland, you might be shoveling snow.
Oh, we don't got to put chains on our tires,
right.
So like we're entitled and fine that way here, where we don't really, like, to us, it's like, oh my God, it's raining. Like, oh man, we have to go drop a sign in the rain, like.
It's not, I got to shovel snow to get out of my driveway.
We are not about that smoke because we don't know that life.
Yep.
Colorado is something different. So if Robert's agent is like, hey man, this time of the year is hard.
Yeah.
I tend to believe him.
Yeah. He said there was a multiple six-figure difference.
Wow, interesting.
Versus him in the
like springtime.
Springtime, yeah.
Oh, damn. Yeah,
Four
I never thought
seasons
about
make a
that. I guess
difference.
depending on the price point that you're at, like something like that. Oh, I
Right.
could totally see that. Like,
Right.
I mean, who's shopping at that time of year out there?
Right.
That makes total sense. Huh, interesting.
Have the new flood maps been released yet? In particular, are there any home/regions in Eva Kapolei you are aware of that we should know about?
As far as flood zones, nothing that I'm aware of
I don't
in
remember
those
hearing anything
areas. But to be transparent, I have not seen any new flood maps. So if there is something, I'm not aware of it, but it would be surprising to me because those are just not areas that we typically worry about flood zone in. Now, if you're close to the ocean, inevitably you may be in a disadvantageous flood zone. But like Eva Beach, Kapolei, the flat plain on the island, which is Eva Plain, right? Like huge. All the new development coming up there tends to be fine.
And if you're not near a shoreline, another thing you need to take into account is drainage easements. Because where else? Is there Hawaii Kai? No, not Hawaii Kai. There's places in Kaneohe where they have like drainage easements. They're not on the bay. They're like a couple blocks back, if not a whole street and a half back. Like, bad explaining. A couple blocks back from the bay.
Yeah.
And they have elevation, but they're just right next to a drainage easement.
Yeah.
And their flood zone is terrible because of that. And it's not, like, if you look at the house, there's like a 10-foot drop into this drainage easement, but they don't, I guess it doesn't take into account on the flood map. And they're like, well, you're next to a moving body of water.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah. Or even like the elevation of where you live, because they're like, for example, in like Wailua, you are not really near, you're not super close to the river, and you're not close to the ocean, but you're low lying. So when it really rains and up in the mountain, all the way the hell up back there, it all comes down. And like there are certain houses that just get like tanked, like totally flooded. So it's elevation. Are you low lying? Are you next to a stream? Are you next to an easement? Or are you coastal? Eva Beach and Kapolei typically aren't ticking those boxes, but you know, we're up to learn and review if there's anything, you know, different that has come to pass, but I wouldn't expect so. Yeah.
Next one is going to be from Neil. He says, does Hawaii have assumable properties / loans?
Yeah.
Yes.
Most popular or what we see the most of, which is still just a fraction of the sales that we see, are VA assumables. That's the most common one. VA loans are assumable. They can be assumed by anybody. However, most VA loan holders want their entitlement back, meaning whatever amount they have left on their loan, they don't want that to be a dip in their entitlement. They want that full entitlement back so that they can use that on their next VA purchase.
So they want a VA buyer so that
Correct.
they use their entitlement but achieve the rate that seller got.
Right.
Usually the 2.5 that's broadcasted, or like up to 3.
Yes.
Assumable properties, there's something called rent to own, where you live in the home you're renting and you pay a surplus amount of rent. And this is the great thing, is you can structure the deal what makes sense for both parties. Say your monthly rent is, you know, $1,500 or $3,000. You would pay a surplus on top of that to start funding your down payment, and then work out the deals and timelines, and then, you know, get a loan then, and then become the owner of that property. But not a lot of deals like that happen. More often it's VA assumable loans.
And we've talked about it a bunch on the channel, but if you don't know already, I think biggest things to think about when you're assuming a loan is, since there's no loan origination, we have a flexible timeline, generally a longer timeline, because there's not like a huge incentive to do it quickly, because it's not a new loan originating. No new money is being made.
Right.
So, you know, unless there is a assumption department, they can take very long, or they can be maybe 60 days is like the fastest that we've seen. 60, 75 days is like fast for a VA assumption.
And the longest we've seen is 10 months.
10 months.
So when we say timeline is flexible,
It's pretty flexible.
pretty flexible.
And it like largely depends on who holds the loan, what company holds the loan.
Right.
So
Some are easier to work with than others.
some are
quicker
more,
than others.
yeah, some are quicker. Some have their own department for it. Some are more communicative. Some have a designated person who can actually call and talk to, and some don't. So that all matters. But also down payment on an assumption. So 2.5 is a great rate. Inarguable. Nobody's going to argue with that. 2.5 is a great rate. But if the 2.5 rate home has a loan for $500,000, but the price is $1.5 million, then you have to come up with $1 million.
Right.
So, you know, it doesn't, even though the rate is amazing, a lot of these people who have these low rates, they have a bunch of equity in their home because they came into the market during a very competitive season where they were paying above the appraised value. They were putting large down payments in. So, unfortunately, a lot of these low rate VA homes that have an assumable loan, they also have a lot of money paid into it already. So it's the buy-in, unless you're in an equity position yourself or a liquidity position to, get in there.
As Derek would say this is the list price of the home today. There's an assumable loan on it, right? And if you as the buyer have to, fill this whole bottle, right? And you're going to assume the loan and say this is $1 million property and say there's $700,000 on the loan left. So there's this much you're assuming at 2.5%, but there's still the rest of the cup that you got to fill. And that's what people use as their down payment. They have to put this in equity in order to achieve the $750,000 at 2.5%. Now we are going to have a conversation with Pacific Rim Mortgage about the different options for this remainder, this down payment or equity position that you need to make up for. Usually it's a lot of cash. there seems to be some changes going on.
Really?
But we haven't had the conversation yet.
Oh, okay.
Like in passing, Derek was like, just by the way, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh. So there might be some changes going on here.
So
TBD.
historically, it's been, hey, nobody's going to take a second lien position. You better have the financing. You better have the funds, not the financing.
Yeah.
You better have the funds to make up that disparity because ain't nobody taking a second lien position. Like nobody's going to give you another loan and then, you got to pay that mortgage first if something happens, right? And they're going to be like, okay, well, we'll be second in line for our money.
Right.
Very difficult to get that. But I'd be curious to see if there's something that's going to change there.
Who knows? Stay tuned.
Who knows?
Marissa said the drainage canal next to the YWCA in Kaneohe is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So ask a local.
Ask a local. Yeah. Where's the drainage stuff going on?
Whose house get all buzzed up every time it rains?
Yeah. We went to see one in Honolulu, right next to a drainage one. But that one had a really high elevation.
Yeah,
and
but the flood zone was normal though over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Which is but that's probably why, because it was high.
Such a high elevation.
Yeah. Because it was terraced. I wonder if it's like drainage easement, the house we looked at, but then there was another house on the other side that was terraced lower.
Do you
wonder
think
if their flood zone is junk? Could be.
It could be.
Yeah, and they're literally like neighbors. They're neighboring lots, and one, depending on elevation, could be disadvantageous. And it really highly depends on your elevation too, because you look at like a house on a sea cliff, it's not going to have a bad flood zone, because they're not prone to flood.
Right. Or you could be in a bad flood zone and have an elevation certificate because you're a post and pier. I believe it's 18 inches.
I can't. No? I don't remember.
Don't quote me on 18 inches. But
it's like 10 feet.
No, if you're in a bad flood zone, but the house is elevated, post and pier, you may be able to get a reduced flood insurance premium.
Now it's still a higher flood insurance premium,
but not as bad as someone that
doesn't have that. Yeah. Because it can be bad. Like it can be a big difference in your homeowner's insurance if you are required. Now, if you have financing, you're going to be required to get that. Now, and you just want to, because it's just some of these houses, they're just prone to flood. So you want to have that. It's not necessarily that you shouldn't buy in a AE or a what is it?
Not
V.
X, V.
A V.
VE.
Yeah, VE. It's not to say that you shouldn't, because like I see houses like that are like across the street, like there's a whole nother street and then the beach is on the other side, where it's like, in like the next 30 years, I don't think anything's going to happen to me.
Right.
However, it's still a bad flood zone. It's more so like, hey, how much am I willing to, like, what's my monthly budget that I want to put towards my housing expenses? And does this increased level of flood insurance premium, is that still within my budget for what I want to pay monthly? If it is, and you're like, hell yeah, I don't care, I'm not going to lose my lot, but I'm far enough away from the ocean to where I'm not worried about it, but I want to be this close, then hey, it works for some people.
Right.
Yeah. Not to say don't, but just be smart about it and make sure that you're a real estate professional that is helping you, knows kind of the nuances between like all of those.
Be smart with it.
Yeah. And go to courteamhawaii.com.
Did we have that? Did you send that question, Kenji, to us in the email?
Is it my email? Okay.
Don't put it up yet. All right. You can read it?
Sure. What are comparison of monthly fees for a condo versus buying a home in Hawaii? This is like a multi-part, so let me make sure I'm understanding the whole, like in its entirety. Is it a better deal with condos with their HOAs for value to increase more than a single family home? Can you just lock in one set price in Hawaii as opposed to dealing with all the extra monthly expenses?
Okay, let's break that down. So
yes,
the comparison of monthly fees between buying a single family home versus a condo.
Okay.
So comparison of monthly fees. What are the same? You got to pay your principal and interest, taxes and insurance. Those are the things that are the same.
No matter what you get.
No matter what you get.
Yeah.
Single family home, let's just say this is not an association to make it clear and cut.
Yeah.
Single family home in this sense isn't going to have an association fee or a maintenance fee, which is going to differ from a condo because you're a shared attached structure. So you will have a maintenance fee maybe an association fee along with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the HOA fee. That's going to be the main difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. You may have more CapEx, but
More CapEx on the single family?
on the single family.
Yeah.
On the single family. So you may not have a maintenance fee, but you are responsible for the incidental occurrences that a homeowner in a condo wouldn't be. Like, my roof is leaking.
Yep.
Okay, then that's your expense as a homeowner of a single family home versus a condo owner who would be like, okay, call the HOA.
Yep.
Or the exterior paint needs to get redone. Let's call that 10 grand to redo all the paint around your house every 7 years or something like that. That would be an association thing, not you. So,
But you
certain
would be
things.
paying it through the HOA.
Right.
So you'd be basically painting a
You're
part
paying
of that building.
that. Yeah. But in your monthly set, you always have to pay it fee, as opposed to single family home. You just pay it as it comes up.
Right.
But it may be like a bigger ticket item when you pay it at once.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
HOA is just split up in a monthly.
Yeah.
Another thing is condos, typically your sewer and water are included in the HOA fee. So you're still paying it, you're just paying it lump sum in the HOA fee.
Yeah.
Versus single family home, your sewer and water is something that you will have to pay on a separate bill from, your not HOA. And then usually all of them will have to have electricity.
Yes, you will have to pay that on your own. Now, this person, just because of the nature of all of his or her questions, I feel like they're also asking like, which one's more expensive? Because it's like comparison of monthly fees. So those are the different fees you would be paying for either. But really, you're going to pay more for a single family home.
Right.
Because it's a higher priced item. So, I mean, it depends on what you finance and how much money you put down. But generally speaking, the price for the home, if it's higher, then your expenses are higher.
Right.
And another thing that you have to consider with single family home versus or non-association single family home versus, any condo or townhouse in an association is yearly increases of your HOA expenses.
Right. Those are not fixed.
Those are not
expenses.
fixed. Yeah, those are not fixed. When you get your condo docs, you may get like the 30-year plan for the increases so that you can kind of see like, okay, it's 500 now. They're planning for the next 10 years, it's going to go up 5% every year or more or less, whatever it is. So you can kind of see what the expected increase will look like. And that's just for the approved plan. That doesn't necessarily cover like, we got spalling. Everybody's complaining there's spalling on the building. Now we're going to have to do like an assessment or something. So assessments are also things that as a single family home owner, you're not going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with a leaky roof and replacing that. You're going to have to deal with maintenance, exterior maintenance. All of those things are going to be landscaping. That's your problem. You know, all that's your issue. But on an association, you may also have, I wouldn't say hidden because it's not like you don't know that they can happen, but they may not be there when you buy into it. And it's just always, it's always something that can happen. So having a good lender is a great way to kind of like mitigate that. And having a good team like us is another good way to mitigate that because, for instance, insurance.
Insurance issues.
Yes, insurance issues. If you have a team that knows the questions to ask, that can really help. Like, we can never guarantee that your HOA is not going to go up because it will. It guarantee will. But if you ask the right questions and you know kind of like the areas to poke around in, then at least you can be like, oh, I don't expect it to like double next month, because of this issue, which is now sort of stuff that we're able to do. Recently, we're able to do that. So
yeah, and it's such a new and ever evolving thing.
Yes.
So, I'm sure in the next 3 months, some of those questions will be taken off and some different ones will be added.
Yeah.
So.
And because it's like we'll get back to this question, but because it's like a new and like evolving thing and a fluid sort of situation here, I'm all for using your auntie as your realtor, but if she only do like just for the family one every 10 years or whatever, like in an environment or in a climate such as the one we're in right now, especially in buying a condo, it really, really makes sense to buy with somebody or to partner with an agent who does a lot of production and who is, boots on the ground, doing the thing day after day, full time, because it does require that sort of like nuance and attention to detail to save you tens of thousands of dollars down the line. Yeah. So shameless plug, coreteamhawaii.com. Fill out the contact form. we want to help you be smart about your information gathering in the process, because it's not a bad idea to buy a condo, but it is a bad idea to go in without asking the right questions. Yeah.
And if you're looking in Mililani, hit me up, Inside Plug.
Or if you're looking for a single family home in Ewa Beach, hit me up as well.
How come?
Because we have a listing.
The next part of that question is it a better deal with condos with their HOAs for value to increase more than a single family home?
You mean like appreciation?
Appreciation. Are condos appreciating more than single families because condos have a set amount set aside in their HOA for improvements? That's a good question. Because I could see how
that you would make that assumption.
Make that assumption. Typically, because of those HOA dues, I don't know if they're solely because of the HOA dues, but condos typically appreciate at a lower rate than single family.
Yeah.
So if a single family appreciates 4% a year or 4% in 2025, I would assume condos are going to be a lower 3%.
Yeah. There is a suppressed level of appreciation in condos, specifically and especially in ones that have high HOAs or in like very, very old, big buildings. Sometimes that HOA or that appreciation can be suppressed because it's like, sure, that house, that single family house over there appreciated 5%. Maybe this condo would have appreciated 5%, except that the HOA also went up 5%, so there's checks and balances. And so generally speaking, a single family home, unless it's like a very unique, unless it's a leasehold, then that's not going to do nothing for you.
Right.
Yeah. Or if it's a very unique situation where it's like diminishing value, like it's run down, it's hoarded out, it's falling apart. It's the buyer pool is shrinking because nobody can buy it anymore. You have to have cash. It's investment property now. It's there are specific instances where just a normal run-of-the-mill condo may appreciate more than a single-family home. But generally speaking, there is more potential, generally speaking, for association places or places with high HOAs especially to not appreciate as quickly as a single-family home would. Yeah.
And then can you just lock in one set of price in Hawaii as opposed to dealing with all of the extra monthly expenses?
I think by what the question is well, yeah, single family home. Like your mortgage is not going to change.
Right.
Your property tax may, because if your home increases in value, if the assessed value goes up, then your property taxes may change, but your mortgage payment is not going to change. But in a condo, your HOA may change.
Right.
Your expenses on, your home expenses in a condo may change because it may go up a little bit, and it will go up a little bit. That's just normal. That's what happens. You got to rebuild your reserves. That's just something that happens.
But does that mean to just save up to buy a single family home, or should you buy a condo in the meantime?
I'm buying a condo in the meantime.
Buying a condo in the meantime. Granted, right? We
buying
make
a
money
smart condo
off of sales.
Yeah.
But if you look at the numbers and you crunch both of them, you're like, okay, well, I want to buy a single family because I don't want to pay an HOA. But how are you going to acquire that amount of down payment to get into that single family home? And how long is it going to take for you to get a big enough down payment? And is that down payment increasing with the amount that the property is appreciating at? Likely, a lot of the answer to that for a lot of people is going to be no. So the way you hedge yourself to getting into a single family would be to first buy a condo, keep saving what you can, letting that condo appreciate, and at some point selling that condo to upgrade to the single family, because you would be able to use the equity from the condo appreciating to get yourself into something larger. And we have time for two more questions.
Yeah. Larry is
Larry's
the MVP in this chat right now. For CapEx on single family home, do you find that homes on Oahu need roof maintenance replacement earlier than normal? I've been to the Ka'ulu development and their shingles look beat up already. I would say no. It's the opposite, really. So I'm not an inspector, but we go to a lot of inspections. And, I just like, I think we all do this. We just kind of regurgitate what we hear over and over again around us. That's how we learn. That's how we know things. But our fellas who do inspections, whenever we're looking at roofs, because they always say, hey, we as inspectors, even though we're in Hawaii and our conditions and our environment, it's different. We go by the national standard. So by national standards, your roof, which is, 15 years old or whatever, or 20 years old, it is in the end of its life phase, according to national standard. However, based on the condition and the weather that we do not get here in Hawaii, I think you got another 10 years left. So, and that's because we don't have, a very big expansion contraction due to like extreme weather. It doesn't get like very cold and then they're very hot here.
No sleet, no hail.
Sleet. We don't have the excess of like weight or moisture of the snow being on your home for X amount of months for the year. We just live in not very extreme environment. And because of that, our roofs, also just like a bunch of stuff, like our water heaters or whatever, anything kind of exposed to the outer elements that in a mainland home that experiences like changes of seasons extremely like that, would last a lot or would go deteriorate a lot faster.
Yeah.
We, get a little bit of extra boost in like length of life of some of our appliances, some of our house that's some of the parts of our homes because we don't experience that. So I would say it's actually kind of the opposite. Yeah.
And then, that's a name I don't want to pronounce.
Where?
Jifka?
What's the average lifespan of roofs in Hawaii? 15 to 20 years. Probably like 25 to 30 years is generally what people, I've seen some houses that are like from the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, the thing, no more even, there's like no granules. It's just straight.
And they're still running it, and
that's not to say you should let your roof get to that point. It might not leak, but it's probably not best. But also, you might have an issue if your roof is that old to sell it because there's going to be the new buyers, insurance company being like, "That's too old of a roof for us to insure." Yeah. And then also, if you're a buyer, right on that side, you have to take that into account when you're looking at that sort of home.
Oh yeah, New York, I could see.
New York.
Or what are you in, like upstate New York or something, where it's just like extremely snowy for certain parts of the year?
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
But one last thing, we do have to wrap up as we have an appointment coming up in 4 minutes. I gotta use the bathroom.
Okay.
I froze my
one more
milkshake.
Very relevant to real estate thing.
The most relevant. Okay. Fairlife protein shake, not a protein shake. It's just milk, so it has protein.
Milk.
But I froze it and I left it in there too long and it got chunky. And I opened it in front of Mahe. I was like, hey, look at this. And I drank it.
Screamed.
She thought it was rotten. It's not rotten.
You would, of everybody, you would be, if like Derek has meal prep that he's like, it's kind of old. I don't know if I should eat this. You want this? Aiden's like, yes.
Yeah, let me take that.
That two-week-old shrimp.
Yeah, he's
Tupperware?
like, yeah, it's like 10-day-old shrimp. And I was like, I'll just eat it today so it doesn't get older.
No, I can't even like look at leftovers that old without getting sick immediately. So
sometimes you got to run it hard.
An iron gut in your early 20s.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for hopping on with us. As always, if you have additional questions that we did not answer today, this comment section will be evergreen. Fill it up. We'll go and audit it later and answer it on the next one. Participate in our question a day questionnaire. We really want to hear from you. We want to engage with you guys more. And if you want to have a more in-depth conversation with us about specific neighborhoods, about a potential move for you guys, coreteamhawaii.com. Charlotte will give you guys a call and we will talk to you guys soon.